Gopal's presentation. Two premises which I would actually wish to share with you all is that I've been doing some kind of a market survey in terms of how exactly can we place the development studies program, what we are doing actually at ADI. And I've been meeting some of the people, those who are employing the professionals, the rural management professionals, plus even the places where some of the students are actually going for getting their coaching, like for example career launchers, time and all. And I've been told by some of the, and yesterday also I did that, curiously I went and met the Vice President here, Mr. Devashis of Career Launcher, just to understand what exactly and what kind of students actually come in. What he said is that the CAT 14 students, those who have already secured more than 90 percentiles are through. They are now in the process of preparing for something else. And what you are offering and the rural management schools normally do, and now the XIMB results are also out, I think you are going to get down to the around 50 to 60 percentile students who will actually come down to such kind of courses. So that's the premise with which we actually end at operating. That's one very harsh reality. The second is that having come into the course, you know, we have encountered with the kind of students like, for example, I'll give you one very, very unsettling example which always has been very disturbing for me. There have been students who don't know how is rava prepared and what is the rava product from. They normally end up saying that rava is actually a direct agriculture produce. What rava you know? Yeah? From which we make halwas and all. Suji, what we call in some states.
Semolina.
Semolina, yeah, exactly. Now, the fallout of such kind of discussions, what happens in the class is that, you know, we are having students, those who are not actually attuned to even, most of us are brought up in the urban settings, but at least, you know, sometimes sensitive enough to go back to our agricultural regions and try to understand what exactly the things are and how the things are being done. That's the kind of students that we have been actually operating upon. So given this kind of a context and the premise, I think on page number 27 of the manual which has been prepared by Manthan, you have actually the livelihood course which we are actually imparting to the students. That's a very specific one. But over and above that, I would rather take you through the overall course design of the DS program, because it's actually a sequel to the livelihood curriculum what we are actually offering. And before that, I think it's very important that I should also share that Entrepreneurship Development Institute as such cannot qualify for getting into the development studies kind of a program. But of late I would rather share with you very proudly that we were actually never an academic institution. We actually have been doing a lot of entrepreneurship, rural entrepreneurship development programs. We came up with the rural entrepreneurship development program model, which was adopted by NABARD and SIDBI and all. That was way back in 83 to 86. The experiment was done in 4 states with the support of Ford Foundation and all. So that's the genesis on which we have started with. So having done that, and also to add a few feather into it, is that the 4th census of MSME very clearly states that 67% of the unorganized rural micro enterprise have investment of about not more than 1 lakh of rupees. 67% of the micro enterprises, it's a government data, the 4th census data, of the rural unorganized sector micro enterprises. I'm sounding very specific, not the 6% what Mr. Gopal was mentioning. So we have been trying to cater to these, actually 94.38% to be very specific. The data is very clear, and because that's the domain in which we can work upon, and where we can actually make some kind of a difference. And with that premise, we also thought that what exactly can be the way out? What is the kind of orientation the students need? What is the overall appreciative inquiry systems that we need to generate within them? And based on that, there was a clear-cut of offerings related to that we need to talk to them about, because we have students from disciplines like IT, many of the engineers have started joining. So there are people, those who have less of an economics background, less of a sociological background, But some of the MBA graduates, after having done some work for 1 or 2 years, have also come in. So in that context, it's a mix of the professionals of our students from different disciplines. So the first, I would say that the first 2 terms are very critical, and which is more of giving them the overall perspective, the microeconomics kind of thing, the fundamentals. Organizational behavior is one important thing which we are inculcating. Operations research. What important thing is a discourse on development theory and practice. Plus, followed by that is a development perspective on poverty, gender, equity, participation. So these are the kind of very critical courses which we have been offering. The important point here is to talk about the personal growth laboratory, that is the labs which we normally organize. Like for example, the book which is Paulo Freire's book on pedagogy of the oppressed, that exactly is being covered in detail in the form of a micro lab in a workshop form to actually help them get sensitized to the disadvantage, the rural settings and all these kind of things, and we take them to the fields. The best part of it is that over and above the courses that we are talking about, you might have been seeing that there is a field work segment here, which is done immediately after the second term. Then we have also apart from the fieldwork segment, I think somewhere it is not listed, but before that we get them into the project planning, GIS, supply chain management, human resource management, legal framework of organizations, where we talk about producer organizations, we talk about cooperatives, issues, the cases, what are the challenges, fallouts of it, the constraints that have been faced. In fact, since Professor Alak happens to be on our board, we had very recently a debate regarding what exactly is the new genesis or the new form of organization that we can come up with when we are actually talking about FPOs in the new arena. So these are some of the things which we are trying to look at, and the real challenge is to kind of get them into after the fieldwork segment, which is for a period of 1 month, into the actual project report preparation, because right since the beginning they are being given orientation about how is the kind of livelihoods which is being practiced in the rural areas. They do a mapping of it. Having come back, they find out research questions, they define the research agenda, and having defined the research agenda, we tag them with the right appropriate faculties, apart from some of the practitioners from outside who work as co-faculties, to kind of get them to that particular core of the research, understand, write a good report. And some of our students have also been involved with the PMRDF kind of thing. Plus also they were the part of the Tata Institute of Social Science initiative of the Manthan internship program. They have been placed with some of the SRLMs in the past. So that's the kind of, the defining the research agenda is one important thing which is being taken up as part of this particular curriculum. And at the end, they again go back to the third, what is called as the third OTS, as they normally say in the IRMA terminology. And we help them tie up with some of the organizations, those who are actually doing work, and which would like to have certain evaluations done, certain kind of documentations to be carried out, and also to even look at some of the program design and the execution of the program in terms of its frameworks, how it needs to evolve. So it's a mix of the initial orientation in the fieldwork segment, followed by the defining the research agenda in the second OTS, the third OTS primarily to take care of what exactly the organization wants. It's a full follow-up through for the 3 placement exercises that we have been offering to. And I'm sure the kind of heat which is generated at the end of 2 years is to look at that 94.38%. And I'm sure we guarantee that most of the students, those who are coming into such kind of courses, have an add-on perspective of also an advanced course where we talk about, where actually it's an elective course, wherein we talk about value chain analysis, integrated firm analysis, cluster development, business development, and so on and so forth, which is on a higher scale of what exactly the livelihood, enterprise development, and finally the next step of the developmental process of such kind of economic enhancement programs might take them through. And most of the education is largely derived from what we have been doing, because personally I would say that 40% of our faculty members have been very seriously involved with various projects throughout the country. And I think that's the add-on value in terms of what we take back to the classes. And in a way it is a mix of the practitioners plus the faculty which is already there in terms of offering the courses. So over and above, it's the market analysis, technical analysis, followed by the final business plan preparation for enterprise development, which is in the hands of the students at the end of the 2 years, for which they can also be given support to start a livelihood enhancement program either, or for example also to take up some entrepreneurship development programs, and with the new terminology of what is the social entrepreneurship. I'm sorry if I might misinterpreted Professor Shukla, but that's another agenda we try to tag on and attach to, and we have been fortunate enough to get support of some of the corporate bodies who have come forward to support such social enterprise efforts of some of the students who are the pass out of the development studies program. So this is in nutshell the overall. I'm sure I've just tried to run through because of the paucity of time, but it is an integrated effort to look at livelihoods, enterprise development, and also to talk about social enterprise establishment. Thank you.
We flagged in the previous workshop seem to be repeated here. Of course, not all of the participants